Hey guys, it's just a quick hello before the start of this podcast. Last few podcasts we've said we're back and we're going to be doing it again more regularly, etc. And obviously that's been a load of BS. We've both been obviously super busy at the moment. I've moved, so I've been kind of concentrating on that, and we've just not had that time to put down. So I'm not going to tell you that we will be posting more regularly again at the moment, because that's probably going to be a lie, and then we probably won't be. We're going to post as much as we can, as and when we can, so they're going to be a bit sporadic of when we'll post. But thank you for all the support, and people have reached out and asked when the next episodes are coming and stuff. So here's an episode with me and PT again. I hope you enjoy it. Please keep supporting us, and we will produce more content as time allows. Peace.
Goes to the gym 4 times a week, like has biceps the size of my head, which is quite large, but not massively not got a great personality, quite a dry person. And watching him go speed dating was incredible, because you basically get 4 minutes, you sit there, you talk, and then you say yes or no on a piece of paper, and then that's it. And he just couldn't.
Real life Tinder.
It is very much like real life Tinder, but a lot more.
Do they find out? So if we was on a date now and then I wrote no down, do you find that out straight away, or do you have to wait till the end?
So this was even funnier, right? So you basically submit your paper at the end.
Yeah.
So you don't know who's ticked yes and who's ticked no. And then the idea is that you basically, when you sign up, you set up an account. So you log in like 3 days after, and they give you the names and phone number of people that both said yes.
So if you said yes and they said yes, then you get that person.
You get a number, right? But they got my name wrong. So I signed into my account and there was no matches. So obviously I was like, that's kind of a bit weird. And
weird that you got.
Yeah, but the reason why it was weird, because one of the girls that I actually got on with, and after the speed dating thing, like normally you're in a bar or a pub, and like a couple of people stuck around and we were just chatting, all of us. And she added me on Facebook.
Right.
So I was like, okay. So considering I got no matches, I was like, do you know what? If I never see this person again, it doesn't matter. So I just sent her a message. I was like, really weird thing happened. I didn't get any matches. And she was like, that's weird, because I ticked yes for you. And I was like, oh, I definitely ticked yes for you. And turns out they'd put me in the system as a guy called Paul. Do you know, I swear to God, they put me in the system, that's why I got no matches. So
did you then see those matches for Paul?
Yeah, but the thing is, that was like a week and a half later, because it took them ages. So you just look a bit dry to just email someone after to be like, hey.
I mean, if you're chatting someone up by email, that's dry anyway, really.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's just the best way of communication. It's like
How many matches did you get then, Paul?
4 out of 12.
Oh, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
A third of the women liked you.
Third of women generally like me, yeah.
It's a good stat. That is a good stat moving forward.
Third, yeah.
1 in 3 chance.
1 in 3. Just go up to 3 women and go, would you like to go on a date with me?
Which of you wants me?
Which of you wants me? Yeah, lockdown. I'll just walk up and be like, hi.
Coming out of lockdown, mate, people aren't going to be picky either, so.
I don't know.
Or the opposite.
They'll be super picky, because they'll think, what about if we go into another lockdown?
Yeah, do I want to be stuck with this person?
I want to be stuck with someone. To be honest, one of my housemates from London, he went on a couple of dates with this air hostess who clearly couldn't go anywhere. Her job basically stopped, so she was living in London and didn't have a lot to do. And he just basically fell in love with her. Oh. And he stuck. He was like, oh, I want to lock down with her. And I think they then spent about a day together and realised that it just really it wasn't going to work. But I suppose it sorts the kind of wheat from the chaff, doesn't it? When you're locked down with someone, you either figure out that you quite like getting their presence, or you really don't.
Yeah.
But just at the moment it's me and my mum, so the dating game is quite
weak,
lacking.
I can imagine.
Yeah. There you go.
This is completely random, right? I was thinking about it earlier. I was in the shower, having a deep.
I'm so glad that you think about me in the shower. Yeah.
No, and I was thinking, do you ever just drive sometime? You know, when you just driving in the car, do you ever just drive and you
Mm,
properly like deep in thought, you
mm.
zone out of everything and you're just driving around and just getting from A to B, and then all of a sudden you come out that deep thought and you're like, what the fuck have I got here?
Mm.
Like, how have I not crashed? How have I
Yeah.
stuck to the speed limit? How have I not gone over a red light? Like, you're so like just zoned out.
Yeah.
It then freaks me out because I'm then thinking about how
What have I done?
I look in the rear window, like mirror, just to make sure I've not like caused like massive
Carnage.
disaster behind me. But I just probably
Yeah.
like, I wonder how many people actually like are in the same deep thought as you as this at the same time as well.
I think, yeah, I think I've definitely had that. Maybe not for like sustained periods of time, but I think my realization when when I come out of it is sort of almost a bit anxious. I'm like, what if
Yeah,
I have a red light? What if I've like completely screwed it? But I haven't done a long distance drive in a long, well, I mean, for a year.
yeah.
But I think when I do long distance drives of kind of several hours,
Mm.
you just kind of go into automation, like especially if you're on motorways, like kind of inside lane, indicator, middle lane, like you just, and then
Yeah,
suddenly you're
motorways
100 miles from where you were.
because you go like 10, 15 minutes, and if it's like quiet, and so you don't have to really concentrate because there's no traffic about, and you can literally just cruise.
Mm.
It's so easy just to be like in
What
a
have I done?
massive daydream. I
But are
just thought
you
how mad that actually is when you think about it. Like, it's probably really dangerous.
probably? But are
How
you one of these people that, and I don't do this, but like you're one of these people that will go for a drive for the sake of going for a drive?
not really. Sometimes like me and Kays might be sat on the sofa and we're like, we're hungry. Should we get
That's
a McFlurry? Should we get a McFlurry? You know,
yeah.
we've got ice cream in the fridge, but it's just nice to get, especially not before lockdown, 100%. I was like, oh, CBA. But now it might be like, well, we've not gone out in about 4 days. Should we
Mm.
just pop out to the drive-through? Because that's our only entertainment right now, isn't it? Like, there's not much.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
we
true.
never just go, should we just drive around? Like, if we ever go out, it is to go somewhere, but that purpose of going somewhere is way more forced than whatever it used to be.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I've definitely gone like, oh, I could get what I need from like the small Tesco's around the corner from my house.
Yeah.
But do you know what? I'll go to the big Tesco's because I can walk around it and look at things, which is quite sad. But I think if that's I mean, it is at the moment the only entertainment we get, really.
I was about to say, I went into Tesco's the other day and I only needed a few things, but then I was like, I went up every aisle, just every aisle. And I went, because obviously they have all their home section open, all their clothes. So I was like looking at all their, I mean, I wasn't going to buy anything, but I was just like looking at all their clothes, like, oh, nice.
Oh, do you know what I bought in Tesco's? This is what I bought for the first day back. Let me get this. Hang on. This is what I'm going to wear the first day that we can go back to pubs.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know, I thought so. I'm definitely going to see if I can get a branded set of trousers as well. And a hat, a bucket hat. I'm going to turn up to the pub with that on, and a bucket hat. But yeah, I recommend it. Tesco's, was it £9?
Yeah,
Worth the investment.
yeah, they do some actually quite cool stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Well, I don't know if I class that as cool. I mean, yeah, you know, yeah, I'm definitely planning my outfit for as soon as we're.
I'm sure it'll be far more fashionable than me turning up with a Guinness bucket hat and a Guinness t-shirt.
Yeah, mate, I might follow your trend on it and go for something weird and wonderful.
Yeah, we could organise it, couldn't we? We could all dress as our favourite pint.
Yeah. Yeah. I might just
Like a set of wallies. But to be fair, it's not too far around the corner, is it really? Pubs outside.
Pub like 12th of April, I think you can then
Hospitality outside, isn't it? And it's the rule of six. 6 people.
Yeah. 6 people.
Don't have to all be from the same house.
No, which is nice.
But yeah.
Life is slowly phasing into normality.
It is. It's kind of it's a bit peculiar, right? Because like you, I mean, like, you and I won't get our vaccines until at
Right.
least like May, June.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
My,
do look forward to it.
my parents had the vaccine, so
Okay.
it's nice to know that they're safe.
Yeah, it is good. I think that was what I had when like my mum got hers and my dad got his and stuff like that. It's kind of, I think because we're so young, there's a reason why we're not getting it until later, because we're not really as much of a risk. And so I think it's nice to know that people that need it are getting it. But yeah, that's it.
We get told, don't we, that it's the elderly that suffer the most. We've basically been told that if you're our age, you'll probably be fine. Yeah, people have died at our age, so don't go around thinking you're untouchable. But
yeah.
the chances are it's just going to be a nasty little fever you're going to get. And
exactly. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like part of all of this was just down to making sure that, because it's obviously so contagious, just wanting to make sure that people who couldn't survive it are protected mostly. But yeah, I think 12th of April, I'm looking forward to it. And you can also go to the shop, so we can all go to a store that isn't the supermarket if there are any left.
Gonna just go bloody anywhere and everywhere, to be honest.
Go everywhere. Go to Milton Keynes. To be fair, that's one thing I'd love to. Like, I know it sounds like I'm an old man, but I'd love to walk around John Lewis.
Yeah, I'm buzzing to walk around John Lewis. I'm gonna try at some point go London to just walk around Harrods for like a week.
Walk around Harrods, walk around Hamleys.
Yeah, just fully enjoy it. Like,
yeah, I think I know it's slowly turning back to normal, isn't it? Really,
yeah.
And yeah, it'd be good. It's good. It's been a long time. I don't think anyone would have said that last year when this all first kind of happened. We've been like, oh, it'll be over by June, it'll be over by September, and then suddenly it's March 2021, and we're still here.
You'll be able to go sit in a McDonald's, sit down properly and eat the Mackies.
Well, I haven't been for a year and a half.
I feel like you get that far in your life, like you're gonna have your first one and it's gonna like kill you or something. It's gonna be horrendous. It's gonna be your veins and all your arteries and be like. Ugh.
The thing is with it,
probably don't even miss it now, do you?
Pardon?
You probably don't even miss it now either, do you?
No, but I see the thing is I've never wanted, like, wanting it is the wrong word. Like McDonald's to me has always been like convenience of I need something to eat, it's the only thing open, or I need something to eat normally when I'm drunk. But like I've never sat there and gone, oh, I really fancy McDonald's.
Yeah.
And so therefore I just don't eat it unless I need to.
Oh, I don't know, like the other day, yesterday or whatever, I had a KFC. I'm so tired. Sorry. I was literally sat and I had nothing in the house and I couldn't be asked to go shops. And I just craved something filthy to get, like, just eat something.
Yeah, I get that.
Oh.
I get that. But KFC, I can get, right? I'd probably say if you said to me, do you want a McDonald's or do you want KFC? I would say KFC.
Yeah, I feel that. I think I definitely don't. Mackey's is not my favorite. I would go Burger King, Taco Bell, KFC, Mackey's.
Right. So would you consider? So something that a lot of people don't really get when I say it is that I don't like Domino's.
Domino's probably just below Mackey's. Thing is with Domino's, right? It's just pizza.
It's nothing. It's like price pizza.
Whereas if you think like, I know like KFC is just chicken, McDonald's is basically just burgers, and Burger King is just burgers, and Taco Bell is just Mexican. But if you think about it, they offer what you can't really get anywhere else to the same, like,
same price point.
Unless you've got your own deep fat fryer at home and you've got the right recipe, you're not going to make the same KFC chicken. You can have chicken, but chicken from Tesco's is very different to that. Whereas you can go to Sainsbury's and Tesco's and buy an American Express or Sainsbury's own, Tesco's own, or there's other brands that have come out now, you know, Papa John's. Pretty sure you can buy Papa John's pizzas now, frozen ones. Goodfellas, like, they're banging, like, they're pretty good pizzas. And actually, we tend to buy like those pizzas or just like a pepperoni or whatever, and then buy some of our own sausage, some of our own garlic butter, whack it on ourselves, much better.
It's also so much like the thing that's always kind of confused me about Domino's is like McDonald's is nice, but it's priced to be cheap, so it's convenient and it's fair. Like you want a Domino's pizza, it's like £16. To me, I just don't understand that. I think back to like, what could I get for £16? Like, if you want pizza, you can get far nicer pizza for £16.
Let me do an order now. Well, I won't actually do it, but let me let's pick like I'll get a pizza each for us.
Right. Because the only thing I can say about Domino's is the deals tend to make it cheaper.
Yeah, so if you go for the deals, like right now, a date with Domino's, so a small £12.99, you get pizza, a side, and a drink. Right, that's £13. But you think about it, that's the exact same as going to KFC, getting a burger, a side, and a drink, which would cost you £7.
Yeah, it is a bit. Yeah, I've never got it, and I mean, yeah, I think the thing is though, is even when I lived in London, I very rarely. So I live with 6 people, and I would say, well, at least 6 nights a week, one person ordered something from Deliveroo or Uber Eats or whatever, and like that was quite standard. Whereas I think the whole time I lived in London for that year, I ordered Deliveroo or Uber Eats once. So like I just don't know what it is. I don't eat a lot of like takeaway food.
See pizza. You see that? That was pretty good. £20 for a large pizza.
It is extortionate.
So I'll have that. It's called Absolute Banger, and we'll throw in a Texas barbecue as well, right? And that's no customizations, because think about it. If you want, you can add things on. So Texas barbecue just has chicken and peppers. So, I also want sausage, but garlic butter and something else. That's going to cost you it's like 90p of topping. Okay. So, okay, and you never just want just a pizza. You want some sides with it as well, right? So let's look at the sides.
It's going to add up so much.
Let's add a garlic bread, and let's add potato wedges. And should we have some chicken kickers?
I don't even know what they are.
It's just like spicy chicken nuggets, basically.
Spicy chicken nugget, okay.
Dessert. Everyone wants a dessert. To be fair, Domino's cookies, unreal. So we'll add some cookies. There's 4 cookies. We'll have 2 each. Got to have a drink, right? What do you want? Coke, Fanta, Sprite?
Fanta's a good drink.
We get 1.25 litres.
Right.
So all we've got, 2 pizzas, 3 sides, because there's 2 of us, so that's a side and a half each, really. And a dessert and a drink.
Yeah.
You went to Sainsbury's, you've done that, you'd probably look at £10 to £15, I think, right?
Yeah, I'd say upper estimate is 15 quid, yeah.
To be fair, I know Tesco's at the moment have 2 pizzas, a side, and a dessert, I think, for a tenner. So
okay,
it's pretty much what we've just ordered. And then on top of that, you probably want to add an extra dip, because we've got a large pizza and they give you a small dip. So let's add in dip. £61.92.
So you think about that, right? Like split down the middle, that's 30 quid each, give or take. But
that's not much food. That's not much food.
30, even like I think even if it was a lot of food, think what you can get like 30. If I was paying 30 quid, I'd expect to either be in a restaurant.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it really. The only thing I can imagine paying 30 quid for myself to eat would be in a restaurant. I can't get my head around why. So have you ever had Franco Manco pizza?
No.
So basically it's like all they do is pizza. It's like a trendy version of Pizza Express.
Cool.
There's loads of them in London, and they basically do sourdough pizza. That's all they do.
Okay.
And a medium pizza is like £7.50, £8. And you can go in, like you can sit in and eat it, or you can order it. So like there was one near where I used to work, and for a Friday, if I was thinking, right, because when I worked in an office, I used to eat my big meal at lunch.
Yeah.
and not really have dinner. So I was like, okay, well, I'll go get a pizza. And it's like £7.50. You order it on an app, you go and pick it up. And it's so much nicer than Domino's.
Yeah.
But yeah, 30 quid per person. It's extortionate. And the thing is,
Yeah.
you'd eat it and it would be like, okay, it's good. But most of what you could eat from Domino's, you could probably, like you said, get from a supermarket or do something close to it.
Do you know what as well? This is probably a very unpopular opinion. Chinese is on the similar level. Like Chinese, unreal. Have it, once a month maybe. But the other day I had it with my parents, right? And Case, there's 4 of us eating Chinese. I think it's like £65, right?
Yeah.
And that was essentially 3 dishes, curry, whatever, 2 rice, some chicken balls, and seaweed. I think that was it. And some like extra dips. You've not got a massive amount there.
Yeah. That's
like,
the thing.
Chinese is just as expensive. For some seaweed, it's like £4.50.
Yeah. And I think it's just a bit.
And what's the one thing in common every time you eat food like that? You feel like shit afterwards.
But that's it. So I had a housemate when I was at uni who absolutely loved Domino's. Like he would order a large pizza, a garlic bread, wedges and cookies and eat it himself. And that was like 25 quid. And he used to complain. He'd be like, oh, I've got no money. And then he was always like, oh, like, I feel sick all the time. I'm like, Dan, your diet's awful. Like at uni, his diet was diabolical. And he was like, 25. I was like, 25 quid? You go to Morrison's, which is like our local big supermarket.
Yeah.
I was like, you could get some really good food for 25 quid and you'd feel a lot better and it would also save you money. But yeah, he loved Domino's. Their cookies are so good because they just deep fry them.
They are so good. It is ridiculous. But
they're just literally deep fried. They're just deep fried dough.
You know what I feel like at the end? Like I finish, I feel crap, and I'm sat there and I'm like, waste of money. And there's always something left over. And then I think about an hour or 2 later, hungry again. Because it's so high in like salts and stuff that
you makes you hungry and thirsty.
It just makes you hungry again, and you feel thirsty. You don't feel clean.
Yeah,
it's
not.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I'm slagging it off like I never eat it. I have it quite often, but when you actually sit back, evaluate it is crazy. When you think £60 for that order, then that's a week shop. It could be 2 weeks shop.
Massively. You're right. I mean, I used to go to Lidl when I used to go to Lidl to do my weekly shopping. It was like I could get 2 weeks of food, maybe like probably about 8-9 lunches, but like 2 weeks of like everything else for like 40 quid. And that was like also like I'd buy some beers or I'd buy like some alcohol. So it's actually eating. I feel like people get really kind of like, eating healthy is expensive. It's really not. When you actually think about what you need to do and just plan it a little bit.
It's expensive if you buy all the branded shit that claims to be so little calories and like they're super and they just put the word, diet in front of it, and it's like it's just their marketing tactic. Whereas you actually look at the calorie intakes of things and stuff like that, and you actually look at what's in that food, you can buy something for half the price that probably is better for you.
Yeah,
it is ridiculous. But
well, I know your distaste and horror when you learn that I've never eaten a Big Mac. So I promised myself that when everything opens up, I'll buy a Big Mac. Even though I could go buy a Big Mac now, I just think it wouldn't be.
With Guinness top on. I want you in your Guinness
top. I mean, that too, when it comes out of lockdown, I'll wear a Guinness top, I'll be in the pub, and then I'll need a pint of Guinness. I'll need a Big Mac, and I'll go eat it.
They're good. They're not my favourite burger. I rarely get a Big Mac, to be fair, but I just feel like, what's the point? You've not had one. Like, you've got to experience it.
What's your favourite McDonald's thing?
I always go for a Chicken Legend, just purely for the fact it's reliable. it has a variation because you can get cool mayo, spicy mayo, barbecue. There's always, depending on what mood you're in, it's almost like it's a different burger. Yeah, I like to go for that. I love a mayo chicken, and they're not very big, so it doesn't really fill you up. So I normally get that plus something of a bits, but do love a mayo chicken. They just had something recently. It was like I think it was called a smoky clubhouse or something. It was just a big chicken burger. I prefer the chicken burgers to beef burgers. But it had like some pretty like I think it was like jerk chicken sauce stuff all over it as well. It was just a bit spicy, but really filling, like really filling. So it was good. I think Chicken Legend though is reliable. What I go for. What about you?
Chicken Legend's probably the burger that I would get, but 9 times out of 10, I've normally gotten Chicken Selects.
Good choice.
Because they're like a fancy nugget. They're like an adult nugget.
Yeah.
And chicken nuggets to me, like I think when I remember chicken nuggets as a child,
childish.
Exactly, but when I remember chicken nuggets as a child, to me, they must have changed the recipe. They must have changed the recipe because I remember chicken nuggets as a child being absolute bollocks. Like they tasted so good, probably because they were so full of such bad stuff.
Yeah.
I remember them tasting so good, and I remember having one. Like I think the last time I ate McDonald's, and it just tastes like cardboard.
Yeah.
Whereas you get Chicken Select, it's good. It's premium. It tastes. It's got something to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. The McFlurries as well. They're just weak, mate. They're just weak. Like you need, you order whatever. I think flake is the special one at the moment. You get the flake one. You get like 3 bits of flake and about a smidge of sauce. And it's like you want it. You see the picture and it looks unreal, doesn't it? You're like, oh,
yeah.
I want the McFlurry. You get it, and it's like. You think you're on bloody Michael McIntyre's big show or something. You think there's cameras all about. You're getting wound up, seeing how far they can push you. Or Anthony Deck's Saturday Night Takeaway to see if they can, I'm just expecting someone to jump out and be like, well, hey, got you. No, it's disappointing.
I suppose the thing is that you could just say, oh, can I have a bit more flake in it? Like I get really wound up. So every Saturday.
Though, like you're a dickhead.
Yeah,
they're
true.
Like, excuse me?
But every Saturday, I go to Starbucks and I buy a coffee, and I get wound up by the fact that I buy it, and I don't buy cappuccino or anything like that. I buy latte, so there should be milk all the way to the top, and there's always a solid sort of inch or two of just foam.
Yeah.
No, if I want it really winds me up. But I can't, like you said, can't be the dickhead and go, where's the rest of it? Where is it? Especially because it's kind of I feel like. They're so stressed because they're I don't know if you've been to Starbucks in Northampton, but they've got those partition walls between them.
Yeah. And they're banging out coffee after coffee after coffee. It's
they do a lot. I was sitting there, they get a lot of coffees. That drive-through gets absolutely hammered.
Yeah, I go to Costa instead in Sixfields because it's just so much. Well, it's not actually always quiet, but it's the one at in town, Starbucks.
Oh, opposite Boots.
Yeah. It's really good. I'd say 60% of the time there's no queue.
Really?
And when there is a queue, they move pretty quick. Whereas I feel like the one in Starbucks is just it's always got a massive queue and it's just slow. But yeah, I always get a caramel latte or a cortado. And when I get the latte, sometimes I ask for, double dosage of the old caramel because I'm got that sweet tooth feeling.
Right.
And they've not done it. I can just tell they've just put one. They may have filled the thing up a little tiny bit more and plopped it in, but they've definitely not gone
one, two.
They've not done that. They've just done one big one rather than 2 normal size ones, which would be more
really wind you up, Harvey. I can tell it really winds you up.
Just when I want caramel, okay?
It's that, isn't it? It's that it's the smallest things that feel like an injustice. And because it's so small that you can't and it's also unprovable. You can't complain,
Yeah.
but it's just like so frustrating because it's those little things you go, "Do you know what, I'm gonna treat myself to a coffee because it's like expensive because it's like £4. It's not probably £4, about three, but
Yeah,
and like
it's
it
expensive to
just
be fair.
doesn't happen.
Again,
And, oh, but the
looking
last time I was in that Costa was when I was planning my trip to Australia, so it holds bad memories for me, Harvey.
holds
Didn't make it.
memories for me because every time I go there, I know I'm getting a coffee, and yeah, happy days.
Good memories.
I probably go there 2 or 3 times a week, but then, like you said, it's about £3 a coffee, so I easily spend about £10 a week there. Which then, if you actually think about it, and you go to Sainsbury's, you could buy your own coffee and make it yourself.
Make it.
Ugh, it's never the same.
But yeah, I think working from home, I've saved a lot of money on not doing things like that because it does add. Like you think, oh, it's only a couple of quid, but then you do it like 2-3 times a week. It definitely adds up. So working from home has been good.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like lunch was always expensive. I mean, I'd always go to Sainsbury's. I'd always get a takeaway. I'd never prepare anything. Always go out. And I must have spent 40, 50 quid a week on just lunch.
It adds up.
At the beginning, and then by the time it gets nearer to payday, it's more like, oh, go Sainsbury's and just buy something to eat, like soup.
Soup.
You know, something.
You can always do that. Like I know, I think because I ate my main meals at lunch, I was used to make kind of large amounts of like spaghetti bolognese, chili, curry, soups, because you can freeze it, and I think it was always kind of a lot easier than trying to figure out the multitude of places in London to go for lunch, and everything was like a half of your paycheck because it's London and they just think they can charge you loads of money for it.
Yeah.
It's a bit frustrating. Pret and a sandwich is £5.
Yeah, exactly. To be fair, sometimes on lunch we'd go out for a restaurant because we got an hour. We know that, especially in Sixfields, it's always dead. We know we'd get in, be served. Would eat pretty quick. We wouldn't stay there to enjoy it, kind of thing. We just go because it's easy. But you know, Chiquitos or whatever, and there's no one in there. The first person in, get seated straight away. Within 5 minutes, you've kind of ordered, and then another 10 minutes, you're
out.
20 minutes to eat. You're gone. You've got enough time to go get a McFlurry as well afterwards if you want.
It's only across the road.
Exactly. So, done that a few times, but now I'm very much like, nah.
Yeah, it's kind of. I feel like one of the tendencies that I used to have, and it's not the best thing to get in the habit of, and I think it's more the culture that I work in. But
I think it's so many cultures like that, work cultures that do that. There's unless you work probably in like a fitness kind of industry, or you're working in like health industry.
Yeah, you do it for convenience rather than for well.
Think about it. I'd imagine if you work at Gymshark that not many people are eating Mackies. I mean, there might be, to be fair, I don't know, but I'd imagine they've got a pretty good like health and well-being mantra there.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely. But like, yeah, I think my biggest thing was I used to eat at my desk a lot, which I know it's kind of like really sad that like the one thing that you should be able to take time out, but you just sit there and you're working while you're eating. Which you didn't, if you went out and got your food, then you tended to avoid that, right? Because you've gone out, you might as well sit where you are and eat it.
Well, exactly. I think I don't know, I was a bit split in the middle. Sometimes I would eat at my desk if we were in a busy time, like I knew that I would.
You had to.
It's better for me just to be there. But when we weren't so busy, then I definitely made sure that I got out because I knew I'm quite happy with a sat at my desk because I could have talked to people in the office or whatever, but you're not going to get that full time that you are entitled to, and you're not going to fully switch off. So I'd force myself to go out and even try not to eat in the kitchen at work because, again, it's quite easy for someone to grab you, or it's quite easy to still maintain talking about work. Whereas if you go out to get fast food, eat in your car, just chill, go for a walk, whatever, like you're just out of that environment. So
yeah. It is true. I think that's working from home has made that kind of a bit of a catch-22. Like, I think most people I don't ever leave my office, which is quite sad. My office is my room. It's a bit relentless, but I don't eat in my room. Thank God. I think I might cry.
Not much longer at all.
No. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think I'll be going back to an office until at least August. Well, yeah, because there's just no reason to.
Yeah.
And I think what will actually happen, right, is companies have probably found that actually a lot of, especially kind of law firms, professional services companies, right, that working from home, you've probably actually made people more, from a bottom line figure, more productive
100%.
because you can get them doing two things at the same time.
Yeah.
Like all this, so there's no, if you're meant to be doing one thing and you're in a room doing that thing in an office, people can't really get in your way. Whereas now you can have like, I've got like 3 laptops, right? I've got like 3 different work laptops and I can have all of them open at the same time and be doing 3 things. So when one thing is not going on, I can change it. And it's crazy. And that when we go out to offices, I can't do that. So it's kind of going to be quite interesting, I think, at least in the industry I work in.
Yeah, I think a lot of companies as well find that people don't take as much annual leave as quick. I don't know. I think being able to work from home, you in a way are like, everyone obviously will still take time off. And I think to begin with, people go crazy because they'll be like, oh, I just want to do stuff. But I think you can still work from home past this or split up your week a bit. People will be like, well, like I know yesterday I worked from home, right? That's when my weekend started in my mind because I knew I didn't have to get up early. I knew I didn't need to get changed into anything like work related. I could just wear whatever. And I knew I could wake up kind of 20, 25 minutes before work and just roll out of bed, stick the kettle on, put my laptop up and off we go. And then like had a break at about 10 o'clock for 15 minutes, shut my laptop down, go on the sofa. You're relaxing. Lunch break, you've got an hour. Well, cool. Do whatever I want. Go out for a walk. And so to me now, my weekend's 3 days long because that's how it feels. It didn't feel like I was working, but I didn't feel so much as at work. When I was on Thursday, I was like, oh, got that Friday feeling, even though I was still working the next day. So in my mind, if I knew I was working from home Friday, Saturday, and then Saturday, Sunday, got the weekend, I probably wouldn't necessarily want to take it off, like, because I'm quite happy that I feel recharged. So I think a lot of people will hopefully feel like that, and it'll benefit businesses more because people will be more productive. People will feel like, I mean, for a company, if you're not taking time off, it's better for them, obviously. And it just makes you feel better, I think, and work.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw, there was an article on the BBC, on BBC Business about, do you know an investment bank called Goldman Sachs?
No.
Okay, so Goldman Sachs are basically like a big US investment bank. Like, don't think Wolf of Wall Street, but I think like they do big business.
Yeah.
And they had got a junior analyst survey where the average hour working week was 96.
Jesus.
Right, and they only, like, for kind of clarity, I think they only surveyed like 14 people. But the junior analysts about our age, they did 96 hours, and the junior analysts were like, look, red line, limit it to 80 hours a week. But the thing, and I think this is the interesting thing from working from home for me, constantly, it is so much more difficult to switch off, because I think in a lot of jobs you have, like, you take an hour for lunch, right? Like, and it's never really been how my life's ever worked. Like, I probably have had an hour for lunch, but it's never really worked like that because people do just ask you to do things. And like, to watch this survey and see like their average working week for these 14 junior associates is like 96 hours. And I think part of that is working from home, because when you're in an office, you physically have to go home at some point.
Yeah.
And there's peaks and troughs, right? And so you might have to, I mean, I've met people, I've been in the office till 3 a.m, right? So there's peaks and troughs, and you realise that if you're there until 3 a.m, what you're not going to be doing is getting in for 8:30 the next morning, right? And you take that. But when you work from home, it's very difficult to justify things like that, because people do just
People
they don't
expect-
see you sitting there at 10 o'clock when they're going home, or 9 o'clock when they're going home, and you know you're there until 3 in the morning. But yeah, there was a survey on the BBC, and they'd done 96 hours working weeks average. I mean, they get paid a lot, but
yeah, I've seen Spain are trialing 4-day working weeks.
Yeah.
But they get paid their normal salary, so the government are funding companies, helping companies, so they can still pay. If you're getting paid 40 grand a year, and that's for you to work 40 hours a week, you'll still get 40 grand, even though you're going to be working 32 hours a week. So
yeah,
that'll be.
I think that's interesting. I think that's probably fine for companies where you don't charge in time units.
Yeah.
So like, but where if I think about the legal industry or the accountancy industry or things like that, right? Your pricing to a certain extent is done on hours. So if you reduce 8 hours a week from what you can expect people to do, like unfortunately those hours have to be made up somewhere.
Well, I think, do you know what? I think the only way it can work is you're still a Monday to Friday or a 7-day-a-week business, but you just do shifts essentially. So, well, week one, you've got 2 teams, and team 1, you're on Monday to Thursday. Team 2, you're on Tuesday to Friday. No one works a weekend, but
yeah,
you either get a long weekend by starting Monday, finish Thursday, or you start, you know what I mean? Like, and that could work absolutely fine, and the business shouldn't suffer, but they may need to hire more people to be able to accommodate that. So it's just, I'll see how it goes. But
it's interesting, isn't it?
I think it's a very good thing, yeah. So
it's interesting that, like, I was thinking about this when I was eating breakfast. I was like, when did it become normal to have 5 days in a week to work?
Yeah.
Like, when did that happen? When did we go from 7? Did we go from and stuff like that? So did people just used to work every day of the week? And how would you go about that? Because it's kind of
back in the day, most people were farmers, had land. They just pretty much would look after their land, which is obviously a 24/7 job, 7 days a week. You don't stop doing that. You're always out helping with the animals. You go to bed late, you wake up early. So that graft was always there, and it was all like manual labor work, which again was probably all the time, because it was whenever they could get the work. Do you know what I mean? So people weren't rich. So people that if you were a carpenter and someone said, "Oh, come and put a roof up on my house," I think that's what carpenters do, or they build stuff, don't they? Or just a builder. And they said, build me a house, or build me a something.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when do you want me to do it? Tomorrow or tomorrow's Sunday? Well, yeah, I don't care what day it is tomorrow, because I haven't had any work for the last week. So I'll do it tomorrow, and it's a Sunday, and it's going to take me 4 days. So I'll do it for 4. Yep, fine. They might then get any other work for a while, or they might have someone else go, "Oh, can you build me a house after?" Sure, I'll finish this day, that, and they might not get a break for like 3-4 weeks, because they're. So I think back then it was very much like you work whenever, you either work all the time or you're not at all, but that's because you've not got any work to do. And then as time went on and commercially businesses came in and human rights developed, and we become more of a, we
started to have employment rights, right? Like, I mean, even 100 years ago,
politics became more important, and people had more of a right in to say things, and women, think about it, 50 years ago women didn't have rights. They have rights, and
bit long. I mean, 50. They had the vote for over 100 years.
Okay. Racism, like and black people able to work and
not be discriminated, like there's a lot more I think
all
there's
of
a
those
lot more
in. And when you bring those aspects in, though, you then got to think, because it's about equality, which we still struggle with now in this day and age, but even with equality, you've got to treat everyone equally. So you've got to think, well, if we're allowing this person to talk about that, we've also got to let the people that were working, the typical the white man that works, if he's working 3 weeks solid and we're bringing this aspect in, well, we got to bring that in for that person as well. And that, I suppose that's how it slowly developed, right?
Yeah, I think, and also when companies, I think you're right, like people started out as agricultural work, like farming, whatever. And then as companies developed, like, I mean, the Victorian period, people probably did work 7 days a week, right?
Yeah.
And get 5 days holiday a year, whatever. But I think, I suppose one of the biggest things is being part of a union. So like you as an individual have very little bargaining power with a big company. But if you take every single employee of that company and then go to them and say, look, we don't want to work 7 days a week, we want to work 5. And the company goes, no, well, you can just go, okay, we'll all go on strike.
Yeah.
Or we'll just all quit. And I think that's kind of important, right? Like, and I think obviously then like 5-day working week is kind of not the law, but well, pretty much the law. But it'd be weird to go, I think 4 days a week. Don't know if I like it.
I feel like the economy would either die or the opposite, because everyone's gonna make time to, like, how often do you go to a restaurant in a month? You might go once a month, if that, because the price of it and the time, you don't have the time. And realistically, do you want to spend 50 quid every week because you've got other things to pay for? Whereas if you're getting paid the same, but you're only working 4 days a week, does that mean that you, on that Friday, you can go shopping? Or you think, you know what, I'm actually going to go out for dinner this day. So then actually that gives the whole country an extra day to spend money, or work on themselves, go gym, go for a run, just go out for a walk. So like, is that going to improve? Pros and cons, isn't there? It'd be a massive risk. The economy would either go straight up or straight down.
Yeah, and I think it's so dependent on what you do, right? Like if you work in shift, if you're a shift worker, then 4 days a week probably isn't going to make a difference, right? Because we don't work weekends generally, but people in restaurants work weekends, people in cafes work weekends, people work weekends.
Yeah. I'm the work 4 weeks. My shifts are 4 day weeks, right? Because my shifts are 10-hour shifts. So I don't do 9 to 5. I do 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. with essentially no breaks. So it's 4 days on, 3 days off. Like that's
and that's fine. And that works for shift workers. I think what I would foresee is making me nervous would be like, well, you've only got 4 days in which to work.
Yeah, and when
it's still a humongous amount of work.
It's responsibility, so you shouldn't have as much responsibility or pressure put on you. So you might be dealing with 5 jobs. Well, actually, let's give him just 2 jobs because that's realistic. And that's about managers setting expectations. And that's not us to worry about. That's top dogs, I suppose, to worry about. And because that's what people don't, I think a lot of people do. And I thought I definitely fell into this category of, it's not my company. So I'm doing what I'm being asked to do. And if you're getting asked to do more than what's actually physically possible, you can't do that. So don't push yourself into that point of, like you, working ridiculously late. I've been there, done that, and realised I can only do what I can do. I could get it done, but realistically, what's that going to achieve apart from me feeling horrendous and potentially neglecting other work that's going to be coming in? Whereas go to finish work I know not every job can do this. Like I couldn't get a call come through on the radio and go, I'll do it tomorrow. Like it's not going to work, is it? No. But if you can, think to yourself, I'm not doing that now. And then when you go in tomorrow, you can then go speak to your superior and say, I didn't do it last night because I was working late and it was getting to a point where I wasn't functioning. I'm going to focus on it today. If that means I can't do that thing today, you might need to delegate. Is it possible to delegate that to someone else? And at the end of the day, if it gets to a point where it's like happening all the time, that's not your problem. It's the manager's problem because they're a shit manager because they can't manage workload properly. Well,
Yeah, you're right.
obviously, if you're pissing about and you're not doing the work, then it's your fault. But if you're literally working flat out and there's nothing else you can do, it's not your problem at all. And you
True.
shouldn't worry about it. Very easy to say because I know it's easy to worry about it and get stressed about it. But people need to learn to go, do you know what? I'm trying my best, but no matter how hard I try, this work's not getting done. And I think if you could delegate it to someone else, because the person next to you might be doing bugger all because their manager's only given them one task and they've done it within an hour, but they're just not told their boss and they're just sat there twiddling their thumbs. You've got 5
Yeah.
jobs on. Like, how's that fair? So
True, it is true, and it is frustrating when you kind of work with people and you're working long hours and they're not.
it's
I
probably
mean,
because,
it is peaks and troughs.
probably because they're talking to their manager about things sometimes as well. They're probably saying, I can only do 2 jobs a day, so I only want you to do that. Give me that. And they're managed, and people work harder than others, and people want different things out of life, etc. So some people are very happy to do a couple of jobs and not progress in life and just stay at that level because you might get paid a decent amount of money and they're just happy with that. People that want to progress and continue, you're gonna want to do the extra jobs to show how hard
To work hard.
But life, isn't it? If you want it, you got to go get it.
Get that bread.
Get that bread, baby.
I've never used that phrase. Never, and never again will I use that phrase.
It's the Guinness t-shirt talking, ladies and gentlemen.
Get bread. Guinness, I'll wear that. I'll wear that next time. Next time you see me, I'll wear it.
Good.
In person.
Right.
You can see it up close.
I want that Guinness top on for the next podcast as well.
But yeah, okay. I need to order a bucket hat. I don't even know if they sell them.
They must. Let's go on Amazon quick. Amazon will definitely sell. I bet
Guinness
tomorrow. Guinness
bucket
hat.
No way.
£16. To be fair, that doesn't come till the 3rd of April.
That's extortionate.
There's this one.
I bet I can find one on Depop. That's even worse.
That's also £16. Or you've got. Oh, you can get. Oh, this is a bit more you.
Is that a flat cap?
Yep.
What do you think I am? 60?
Yeah, you can get that tomorrow, mate. 17 quid. You can get that tomorrow.
God. Well, maybe I need to. I'm pretty rooted to the bucket hat. Yeah, not really me, is it?
No.
Also, right, you've got to remember, I have a very large head.
Yeah, I had different sizes, mate.
Okay. Well, because I've got an extra large hat and it still doesn't fit. No lie.
Anyway, thank you for joining again.
Pleasure.
And
as always.
Sure, we'll catch you on the next one.
I'll see you next time with Guinness hat on, Guinness shirt, and a Big Mac.